Jasmin Choy, and today I'm going to show you my type of chili fish pie. This is how it looks like. It takes 10 minutes to prepare, okay? And then it takes an hour to rise, which you don't have to do anything. All you need to do is wait. So you don't have to stand at the stove stirring or anything like that. Super easy, very nice, okay? Very healthy lunch. This is my basic bread dough, and you love it because it's super easy. And everybody loves easy, which makes you realize that maybe you need to remember this one. Alright, we must go according to sequence because the yeast and the salt cannot go together because the salt will kill the yeast. Alright? Okay. Sequence number 1 is add in the flour. So I have 250 grams of flour here. For Malaysians, that's roughly about 1 loaf of bread. Okay? So in it goes. Alright. Next, 1 teaspoon of yeast. Now these yeast have to be really, really cold. Alright? So I brought it to the office. I kept it in a cold bag with some ice in it. Alright? Next, we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of sugar. See how easy it is. Alright? Then we're going to put in 20 grams of oil. So any neutral cooking oil would do. Okay? Unless you're making an Italian bread, then you use olive oil. The reason why is because olive oil actually have a very strong flavor. I'm using a neutral flavor. This is palm oil. Alright? So a really nice thing about this is it has a weighing scale, which means that you can use it to weigh anything. You can have a perfect recipe because you just follow it, alright, with a weighing scale. The other thing is, did you know that sometimes, like during the COVID times, right, we tend to send out a lot of things, and so we have to weigh it for the courier service. You can use this to weigh up to 6 kilos, alright? Now, 20 grams. Here we go. Sip it down. Okay, so after you put all the ingredients, you have to mix it first, okay, for 30 seconds and speed for. Alright? Okay, so that's done. Now the reason why we do that, mix everything in together, is to prevent the flour from flying up to the top, which happens when you knead. Okay? So now we are going to knead the bread after we mixed everything. There's a kneading function here that's really, really cool. The dough function. And then all you need to do is put in 4 minutes and just let it knead. Okay? Okay, now that's done. You see how fast it is? If you had a bread maker, I guarantee it's going to take more time, like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Alright, so the next step, we're going to oil. We're going to oil the thing. Actually, you can oil your container while it's kneading, but because of the sound and I'm recording, I had to wait for everything to be done first. Important thing is you gotta oil it, okay? Oil the thing, oil your hands. Alright, when you oil your hands, you don't need to add more flour. When you don't add in more flour, then the texture will remain really, really nice. Because when you start adding flour, especially when you're new at making bread, what happens is that you start adding more and more flour, and then your bread becomes harder and harder, okay, and drier. Okay, like this. Open up. Turn it over. Press down the blade. Out it goes. Alright? Okay. Now, it's really, really nice and soft. You know this is good bread. Okay? I'm just going to put it back into the machine afterwards, and I'm just going to do the pre-wash function, which makes it really, really convenient for you, you know. And you realize that pre-wash is something that you can't live without once you use it very often, right? Get rid of all the dough, put it back in. See, the good thing about being able to detach the blade is that you can wash below the blade. A lot of blenders, you can't do that. I'm just going to add some water. added some water. I'm just going to leave it alone for the flour to soften, and then I'm going to do a pre-wash later. Okay, put that aside. Okay, my hands are a bit wet. Now, the hand, as a dumpling here, has to be nicely oiled, right? Oops, there's a little bit of dirt here. Now you know it's a good dough when it doesn't stick to your hand, you see? Alright? See? And it's also a good dough because, I want to show you this. It's nicely stretched. 4 minutes is all it takes. See? Okay? That's a sign of a good dough. Alright. We are going to put it in a well-oiled container. Alright? Close it up. Yes, you don't have to put in a plastic wrap. You can use any container with a lid to prevent the bread from drying. Alright? When you do it this way, it's actually eco-friendly. Alright? Try and see. Okay, so the bread dough is ready. You must let it double in size. Okay? The first thing about this bread is you must have enough oil. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour about a teaspoon of this oil here. We're just going to rub it all over the place. See how nice and fluffy it is? In it goes. Just going to press it in. Alright, this way. And so this is how we make the pie. Okay? You can make pie, you can add any filling in. You can add, here I'm adding fish. Alright? You can add in meat, okay, chicken, beef. Like you have leftover chicken stew, add that in. The chicken pot pie Thermomix recipe is very nice as a filling for this as well. Alright, here we go. Like this. Okay? You don't have that much time. A can of tuna is really, really helpful. And okay, this is chili tuna. You can use any tuna you want. Tuna with mayo, anything, okay? I'm adding 50 grams of onions. Now the reason why is because onions give a sweetness to a dish, and you know this is a lot of meat, so when it comes to a mouthfeel, it's very important to add some crunch to it. That's why I'm adding in onions, which I know your kids will like, okay? Alright, mix that in really, really well. I'm going to put this all aside. Okay, so the pie, in this goes. It's going to be delicious, super, super fast, which means that you have time to do other things. You know, we don't have time. My fish pie is ready to put into the oven. As you can see, the dough has risen after 30 minutes. Alright, so in it goes. So while we are waiting for the fish pie to bake, we are just going to do a pre-wash, and this is how we do it. We add water until here, alright, and leave it alone for about 5-10 minutes to let the dough soften, and then we do the pre-wash. Now the pre-wash is like this. You just flip it to the right, you put here pre-clean, alright, and select dough function. So what it's going to do is it's going to heat the water up a little bit, and then it's just going to move it around to get rid of the dough, and then your bowl is clean. Once your bowl is clean, then you can do other things like other dishes like fried vegetable or something. Alright. Okay, pre-cleaning is done. Turn it off. Alright. Rinse off the water. is ready. Let's take a look.